Hey everybody, come on in. This is the Yankey Show. We're going to start in just a little bit. This is just a talk show, a comedy style talk show, like a morning show. We hang out every Sunday afternoon for about an hour. So come on in, and I got some stuff scheduled to talk to you guys about, but we can talk about anything, anything at all. Matter of fact, I do better when there are comments and when people are commenting. So comment, participate in the show. Plus, that helps us do better in the little algorithm, Facebook's stupid algorithm, and get out to more people. And I am in Facebook sharing jail. I got myself locked up, which is unfortunate, especially when you're trying to run shows, to be in a stupid Facebook sharing jail. That's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, actually. If I'm Mark Zuckerberg and I'm running a content sharing platform, I don't want to jail content providers. You need content. What reason is there to jail someone? And how stupid is that? Why did MySpace die? Wasn't MySpace really cool and weren't they really open-minded and let you share, pretty much what you wanted and do what you wanted? What happened to them? Why did they die? I never understand that stuff, but please share. Like I said, I am in Facebook jail. I cannot share because I am locked up. I've shared it the one time that I can, and that's it. Because that's all Mark Zuckerberg says I get to share. Isn't that stupid? But I wrote down a lot of things to talk about today to get into. And while we're waiting for people to get in here, I'm going to start with how I think they need to teach life skills in school. We don't prepare people for life. My son was talking about this, and he was talking about this with a local lady who's active in the school board. She was asking him about school and what he thought about school, and he was saying that, well, they don't teach us things we need to know. Like he's taking a business economics class, and they're teaching them about running a fake business, but they're doing things like you would do on your average little role-playing game on your phone. You're not really learning. You should be learning how to do a household budget, and they should have life lesson classes. There should be classes that you go in and learn how to have a job interview, learn how to prepare for a job interview, learn about stuff like that. It's unfortunate that we don't provide that kind of education to our kids because they need that. How are you supposed to function in life if you don't even know how to do a job interview? I had to wing my first one. Were you prepared? I don't even think my parents prepared me for my first job interview. That's unfortunate, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I had to figure out everything for myself from the time I became an adult. You're just kind of like, okay, this is life. Have at it. And no one prepares you. When I went to school, at least they had home ec. Like I was taught how to cook. We had a class. There was an actual class called home ec, and you took it and they taught you how to do things like sew a button and make an omelet. Things that you need to know. You know, but they don't do that anymore. It's rarer and rarer, and they need to have life skills classes, and they need to have a class on how to order at a drive-through. Now, this is probably only a subject that I am interested in because I happen to work in fast food. But people pull up to the drive-through, and it's not one or two. It's almost everybody, and they don't know how to order. You know, they pull up, you greet them, and then it's like their mind goes blank. It's like they've never been to a restaurant before. They don't know how to handle the situation. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They have no idea of what's on your menu or what you even have. I don't understand that shit. When I pull into a drive-through, I know what I want right away. I get my order straight in the car if there's more than one person. I make sure everybody on the way to pulling up to that speaker, we all figured out what we want. You know what I mean? I understand that we are part of a process. And if I'm slowing down that process, I'm slowing it down for everybody. I'm slowing it down for the car behind me. There'll be the same people that will get up to the window and wonder why they had to wait. Well, Everybody at the speaker wants to take 5 minutes to order. Get your shit together when you pull up to a drive-through window. That's all I'm saying. It's you want speed. Be involved in the process. You can't be fast by yourself. If people are taking 5, 10 minutes to order two hamburgers and a small drink, how are you supposed to deliver speed? You can't. You know what I mean? It takes how long it takes. If I'm sitting there at the window with your bag, waiting on you to finish talking, because we're making that stuff as you're ordering. And that's another thing. When you order at a fast food restaurant and you're ordering at the speaker and you're like, I'd like a Big Mac, four large fries, uh, give me a second, um, chicken sandwich. Wait, cancel that Big Mac. They've already made that Big Mac. You just caused them to throw a Big Mac in the trash. Have your shit together when you pull up to a drive-through window. That's all I'm saying. They should teach you that in school, how to be prepared to order food. And it's funny how many people don't know how to order food as adults. You can't even cook. A lot of people can't cook. A lot of people don't know how to run an oven. I'm not that good at it. I'm pretty good at burning stuff, but I at least could probably figure it out. I could read directions on a box. I'm pretty sure I've fed myself for this long. I haven't fed myself well, but I've fed myself for this long. But they should teach you how to do stuff like that. They really should. I mean, I was kidding about the drive-through. I was, going on and on about that. It's true. They should prepare you. You should know how to order food when you're pulling up to a drive-through. Know what you're doing. I mean, if it's your first time, it's your first time. But learn what you're doing. Learn how to order because, and a lot of times people don't realize that that person inside is doing like three things. They're making drinks, getting bags together, and collecting money while they're waiting for you to decide what to do. And when they greeted you is when they had time to talk to you. You know, they're not allowed to tell you this, so I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying? We can't tell a customer that. The customer's always right. And that's the other thing. Everyone should have to work in customer service, some form of customer service for 6 months, just so you know. Because people are so mean to customer service employees. They treat you as a servant. They really do. I mean, it's like they come into a fast food restaurant or a gas station or wherever. I've worked all kinds of different customer service jobs, and they treat you like they are royalty and everything. You're just complete garbage. Like, how dare you even make eye contact with me? How dare you speak to me? How dare you question me? You know, and then they'll order the wrong thing and swear to you to your face that you messed it up. They're never wrong, and you can't argue with them. It's a nightmare. Customer service is a literal nightmare. It is a very hard job. People think that's an easy job. Fast food and retail and like Walmart is one of the hardest jobs I ever had. I worked overnight stock at Walmart, and they work you to death, literally. I would come in every night, and there would be 3 pallets stacked to the ceiling, and they have 10-foot ceilings in their freezers, and it would be piled all the way up, and they would want me to have that done by 7 a.m., and they ride your ass. They work you to death at those places. They're not easy jobs, and they're not jobs to look down on either. Hey, Dion, they're not jobs to look down on either. They are the largest employers in the country as customer service jobs and fast food and retail and things like that. And a lot of people tend to think, well, okay, those are jobs for kids. That's not true either. At the place that I work, I can't say it because you have to agree not to talk about them on social media, but where I work, there's 40 employees. There's one minor. One. One school-age person. Hey, Steve, good to see you. One school-age person at my entire operation out of 40 employees. So it's an adult job, and a lot of these people have more than one job. They have multiple jobs. So it's not even that they're not hard workers. And some of them are on assistance, and they teach you to look down on those people. Well, those people are not your enemies. They're hard workers. I know them. I work with them every day, and they are good people. And they have been convinced that they're worth less than they are. It's sad because they're being replaced with machines. Think about it at Walmart. I heard a line in a song where it was like, "What happened to all the cashiers when I buy my groceries?" I don't remember whose song that was. I think it was George Watsky, but it's like they vanished. They're gone, and they will be gone. It's hard enough to find an employee at Walmart as it is. If you ever need to find something at Walmart, good luck. I mean, it's really hard to get a hold of somebody that actually works there. And that's because they all have one employee working 3 departments. You know, that's the way they do it. And they're trying to have no cashiers. And they're trying to do that everywhere. At the McDonald's in my town, they no longer take your order at the register. You have to use the kiosk. And if we agree to use those things, that's the way it'll be. Our silence is our consent. You go along with it, you allow them to do these things. And that's what we're doing when we use them. Don't use them. Not only are they going to kill jobs, they're going to destroy the economy. Because as I said, you're talking about killing off the jobs of the largest employers in the country. So it may even be convenient. You're looking at, okay, they got 30 lanes. Only 2 of them are open. And there's 10 people lines in each one. That's because they want to force you to use those machines. Stand in that line. That's the only way you're going to stop it. And then complain. Complain. Do you know what places like Walmart hate when you call the regional manager? Oh my God, they hate that. Complain. They'll open more lanes. Start letting them know, hey, I spend my money here. This is the way I want it to be. I want more lanes open. You got to use your dollar. And that's how you speak to power. If you keep shopping and supporting it, like I said, they'll keep doing it. You got to let them know, no, it's not okay. Talk to a manager. Hey, get a lane open. You know what I'm saying? Make them have to call in an extra employee. We do this. We do all of this. You want to change the way things are, we have to do it. But I wrote down some news stories while I wait. You guys, let me know what you want to talk about. We can talk about absolutely everything and anything. This show is for everything and anything. One day I want to be able to take callers. Once we get better equipment, a better computer, and a better internet, and all of that, we're going to be a lot fancier. This is going to be sticking around. This is every week at noon from the Yankey Show page. Join the page. That way you can follow the shows. I run 2 shows from this page. Conspiracy Theories and Chill, which is exactly what it sounds like. Conspiracy Theory Show. We do that on Wednesday nights at 9. And then this show, Yankey Show. It used to be called, the first 2 episodes were called Me on Things and Stuff. I hesitated to call it Yankey Show, even though I wanted to, because I think my last name is funny, and I grew up with it, and it was tough growing up with the name Yankey. Imagine being a kid in elementary school named Shawn Yankey. Take you 2 seconds to think of 5 jokes, right? And as a comic, my name has been very good to me. But people told me, hey, nobody knows who you are. Don't make the show your name. But I think it's a clever name for a show. And a friend of mine was like, why in the hell isn't your show called Yankey Show? And I was like, you know what? You're right. And Anthony, you were right. So I changed it to Yankey Show, and that's what it'll be moving forward. But every Sunday at noon. Then I also do the Daily Burn every day, Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m. from my other page, Our Revolution War Room. Join that page too. And follow that. That's a really cool show. It's a motivational show for the revolution, the Bernie Sanders movement that's going on right now. So it's political and it's also motivational. And let's see, we got a comment. Let me see. Delisha. The restaurants I've been working at, learning the functions of laborers plus meaningful activities, try working through the graveyard shift isn't easy. Continue working on self first. I'm learning now in life on my consequences and not letting my past consume me. It's hard. I'm praying. God, continue looking over my brain and consciousness. Absolutely, you have to look out for your mentality. You are in control of your reality, what you take in and what you allow. So only allow and take in things that are benefiting you, that are moving you forward, and that's going to help with your mindset and your mentality. You know, that's going to help keep you grounded and centered. If you take in negativity, you're going to get negativity back. You know, it's all about what you feel in your mind, what's real to you is what ends up being real. Steve says shared to groups. Thank you so much, because I am in Facebook sharing jail. I am not allowed to share. So my shows have been getting no views, like real, not no views. You guys work your butt off. There's a lot of people like Steve that share like crazy, and I appreciate that. But to me, no views is 50 views. Like I'll do a live feed and there'll be 50 views, and it makes me sick. Like I'm like, oh, because I really do this. Well, I want it to be my job. Moving forward, for a year, I'm going to push hard and see if I can find a way to make a living doing this and do shows for you guys and put out content. And that's what I want to do. So if you want to support that, there are links in the description to my Patreon and my PayPal so you can support the shows. But you can also support us by liking and sharing and commenting. All of that helps us get out to more viewers, because interaction in the show, it increases our rank in the algorithm, and we get out and show up in more people's feeds. So smash the like buttons, share, all that. Any interaction counts as participation. So that all helps me too, and I appreciate that. Real quick, I wrote down some weird news stories to get into while we wait for comments and people to talk about anything you want, anything at all. This is amazing to me. There was an auction and in Austria, and they auctioned off a pair of Ava Brown's underwear, right? And they sold for $4,600 US. $4,600 somebody paid for what they're described as pink silk panties bearing her initials. And it was an anonymous phone bidder that bought them, but they paid over $4,000 for a pair of, what would those be, 100-year-old panties? And how do you even know they were Ava Braun's? Just because they have her initials? My wife was saying we should start our own business and buy classic panties, you know, old style panties, and sell them, initial them like MM, and be like, hey, these are Marilyn Monroe's panties. I bet you there would be people that would buy them online. You know, there's vending machines in Japan where they sell panties, because they have panty fetishes over, and they have weird fetishes in Japan. Japan is into some weird stuff. But this other story that I found was crazy, and this one is kind of sad. I almost don't want to bring it up because I'm afraid it'll bum everybody out. But this couple, they went to Tanzania, and they went on vacation, and the fiance, they were engaged. Well, they weren't engaged. I'm sorry. I'm skipping ahead in the story. They were boyfriend, girlfriend. And he wanted to propose to her. And he had this whole thing planned out where he was going to propose to her underwater at an aquarium with a note to the glass, right? This story is terrible. So she's inside the aquarium. He gets in there. However, he got them to let him do that. And he swims under the water into this aquarium and goes up to the glass, puts his note up to the window. And he should have wrote a shorter note. The note starts with how he can't hold his breath long. I don't know why he thought he could do this. But he's underwater with this note, and he's showing it to her, and then he flips it, and the other side of the note is, will you marry me, right? She's on the other side of the glass. Yes, yes, yes. He doesn't get back up in time, and he dies. Right in front of her. He dies proposing to her. I mean, terrific idea for a proposal. But I'm telling you, the first sentence of the letter was, I can't hold my breath for very long. Why are you only wearing goggles, dude? It would have been just as cool in scuba gear. I get the added, twist of I'm holding my breath for you. But, dude, can you imagine her? Like, I'm thinking about her right now, because you can look this up. It's on CNN and Fox right now on their front pages. And I almost didn't bring it up because, like I said, I was afraid it would kill the mood. But Yeah, she shared the pictures on Instagram and the video and her answer. Like, she's yes, 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 but he died doing it. Like Charlie from Lost. And, like, that is horrible. But that was a story that I found in the news. And then this Area 51 raid. Were you guys following this viral Area 51 raid where everybody was going to go and storm Area 51? It happened on Saturday, and I think 1,500 people showed up. So they had a little music festival and a little party. Only 75 people gathered at the gates of Area 51. They did a head count, whoever I got that from, and they counted 75 people at the gates of Area 51 that actually wanted to try to go through, but they didn't. No monstered up Kyle even ran through. There was one guy that managed to run past a reporter and get a cool little video clip, but it ended up being a whole lot of nothing. And the military, our frame rate just dropped to 12. 3. We might be crashing. Oh, it's coming back up. There we go, 41. We're back up. So hopefully we're steady. I'm looking at the phone. It looks like we're steady. On my screen, I'm frozen. Like, I'm raising money for a new laptop because we need a new computer because I want us to look cool. I want us to eventually look like Tim Black. Have you ever watched Tim Black and how he looks like he's got a TV studio behind him? He's just sitting in a room. That's all from his computer. I have the software to do it. My computer just won't run it and run a live feed. So I want us to look more professional, and we're going to be professional. These are all, we crashed. We're coming back. This is the challenges of live. This is what you deal with when you're doing live videos. But looks like I'm going to make sure we come back on the phone and then we will continue on. But today is the last day of the fundraiser for the computer. Crashed again. But I'm going to keep talking because it looks like my audio is going. So if you're here, stick around because it will reconnect. My streaming software says we are connected and it will reconnect. Just give it a second. While it's waiting for it to do that, join the pages and come to the shows. Like I said, we have Conspiracy Theories and Chill on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. from this page, and Yankey Show at noon on Sundays from this page, and then the Daily Burn every day, Monday through Saturday, on my Our Revolution War Room page. Looks like we're coming back now. All right, so I'm going to move forward. Looks like we are going to go to the movies today. I am finally getting to go to the movies. A lot of you that were here last week know that I'm trying to get my wife to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But we're not going to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We're going to see It 2, the second chapter, which I'm excited about too. That looks cool. And I read the book. I don't know if you've ever read It by Stephen King, but it is a fantastic book. And they're doing a really good job with the movie. I liked part 1, so I'm excited to see part 2. And I will let you guys know what I thought of it without spoilers later on. But we're going to do that. I wanted to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I am dying to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I didn't do a good enough sales pitch. She's not into seeing it. I don't know why we're having so much trouble with the frame rate, but the audio usually stays good when that happens. I'm going to continue through. We usually do an hour. I'm going to try to see if we can do at least 45 minutes. I will work on settings and try to fix this moving forward. I don't know why we're having difficulties. Everything was going smoothly. We've done a few test runs. But I'm going to talk about some more news while we wait for comments. Please comment and let me know anything you want to talk about, anything at all, and we'll get into it. But did you know that this is Banned Books Week? Banned Books Week starts today. Did you even know there was such a thing? I didn't. It is sponsored by the American Library Association. And what it is that exactly what it sounds like. They ban books. There are 438, I believe, books that they are trying to ban from 2018 alone. They do this every year. They've done it since 1982. I had no idea there was an organization that bans books in this country. And that's what's funny. That's what's I wrote down to talk about media bias. We'll just go ahead and get into that. That's what's funny, that anyone listens to the media, that anyone believes the media at all. This isn't our politics show, but let's talk about politics for just a second, and only to talk about polls. How does anybody listen to any polls from any mainstream media site? How can anyone take them seriously at all? Really, I'm being serious. I'm very serious because I see a lot of people sharing them, a lot of people talking about them. And I realize that that is the only metric that we get provided with to gauge anything by, but they're ridiculously inaccurate. And they've proven themselves to be completely manipulated. And 2016 should have shown you, whether in the primary or the general election, no matter which one you looked at, that the media cannot be trusted. The media lies to you. They did all they could to prove that to you. So if you didn't notice that, you weren't paying attention. You weren't looking. And I don't understand anyone that still watches it or takes. You can watch it. I get watching it for the entertainment value, maybe, or something to do. But how can you believe anything the media tells you at this point? They spent 2 years telling you that Russia rigged our election when we all know what really happened. The media tried to rig the election. They rigged the election alongside the establishment powers that be. It's all proven in the WikiLeaks. That's what happened. But they spent 2 years telling you that Russia did it. Russia did it. It's ridiculous. And their evidence ended up being, 20-something memes that were terrible memes, and I'd only ever seen 2 or 3 of them. And I spend a lot of time on Facebook scrolling through memes. So they didn't get out very much. And then some ads. Like $5,000 worth of Google and Facebook ads that they were able to tie to Russia? It's ridiculous. And they spent 2 years selling that to you. A whole government investigation. They probably spent more on that than they did investigating 9/11. I don't have it in front of me, but I bet you they probably did. It's ridiculous. If I really went through all of my notes, I need to write more notes, especially if we're going to have these freezing problems, because I know that's what's keeping the comments away, is the freezing problems, because it's driving away viewers. People are picky. The audio usually keeps going, but people are picky what they watch, and that's why we need the new computer, because we're not going to grow freezing like this. And today's the last day for that fundraiser, so donate to that if you want to support us. We're raising money for a new computer that can run my editing software and handle things like this, to handle live videos and these shows, because I'm going to do these moving forward professionally. And thanks for hanging out with me today. And if you like the music in the background, I created all of that. I had to. Did you know that you cannot play music on Facebook? If you play real music, like if I play real songs, they will pull my video down. I didn't know that. You would think you could play them, but you have to have the rights to the music in a live video. I'm going to do something I don't usually do live, and I'm going to smoke a cigarette. I hope you don't mind. But I gave you 30 minutes professional, and that's pretty good with having these technical difficulties. I'm proud of myself. I'm going to give myself an A+ for making it that long without smoking a cigarette, because we've crashed twice on my end. I don't know what's happening on you guys' end, but my bit rate is all over the place, and it's just ridiculous. But comment, let me know what you want to talk about, and we can get into anything, because I am out of notes, and I ran out of news. But like I said, we're going to go to the movies today, so I will post a review of it later as a little Yankey Show update to let you know what I thought, and it will be spoiler-free. I hate spoilers. I don't want to spoil it. Even if you've read the book, like I've read the book, and I don't want anybody telling me nothing. And I pretty much know exactly what's going to happen. because they've stayed pretty close to the book so far. But just to let you know what's coming up with a couple of my shows, Conspiracy Theories and Chill, I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after. I'm going to do an episode on the Lucius Trust. I got turned on to the Lucius Trust watching a Harsh Med live stream. And I had actually never heard of this, and I don't know how I'd never heard of this, but it is a Luciferian organization running out of the UN. Their address is 666 UN Plaza. It's ridiculous. I'm going to cover that in an upcoming Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and we're going to go into that. So thanks, Harsh, for turning me on to that, because like I said, I can't even believe I didn't know about that. I'm the conspiracy guy. You know, I'm the one that always spends my free time going down rabbit holes. How did I miss Lucius Trust? They have a mural that they funded on the wall in the Security Council room of the UN. It's creepy stuff. We're going to get into that on but an upcoming episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I'm also going to have a guest back on. We just had Clinton Gordon on to talk about politics and world events, because me and him, we have different politics. And I thought that would be cool to get two views, talking about world events. And it did really well. It's close to 800 views. We're going to have Clinton back on, and he's going to talk to us about vaccines this time, mandatory vaccines. Clinton does a lot of activism and promotes a lot of truth involving the vaccine industry. And I'm going to have him on to get into that, mandatory vaccines and vaccines. We've covered vaccines before on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, but I think this will be different in a different angle, in a way for, I support different views. The way I feel on vaccines is probably around the way of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I don't know if you know this, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an activist on vaccines, and he's just really pushing for regulation. That's what I want. I was surprised to find out that the vaccine industry is completely unregulated and has been since the 80s. So, and we've went from like 10, 12 vaccines to, 60? It's just ridiculous. And annual flu shots and all this stuff. So it's going to be really interesting. We're going to have Clinton on. I won't talk about it anymore because I'm not the expert on it. Clinton is. But we'll have him on in a couple upcoming weeks. And that's one of the reasons why we need support. Because the software that I got to get to interview like Clinton and have guests on for you guys is $20 a month, and the computer and the internet and all this stuff costs money. So if you want to support us, do so with the links in the description at Patreon and PayPal, or just like and share. That helps us too, getting it out there, because I'm in that stupid Facebook sharing jail where I'm not allowed to share. I get to share one time. I can share one time to public, and I can share to my pages, and that's it. So I get like 3 shots and I'm out. So if you can share, if you dig this show and you dig what we're doing, share this out and spread the message and get the word out about our shows, because they're going to be weekly. We're going to do this show every Sunday. And like I said, eventually I'm going to take phone calls and interact. Usually we would have better comments, but it's my computer. I know that it's my computer. It's my computer and being in sharing jail. I'm being suppressed right now. There is active censorship in this world, and it's corporatized. We need to wake up to that. Censorship has been corporatized. Facebook's very open about the fact that they choose what is popular and what is not. They pick and choose what rises to the top in their algorithm. Their algorithm is really a way to suppress things like this. But let's see. Delisha says, I'm scared for others that they can't focus for themselves, leaving one person like me talking for everyone. I simply can't help every individual. They have to pray for themselves. They can't put myself last anymore. Been putting others before me, anonymous, praying for ones that want to see me achieve my goals and take care of that self first. You got to put yourself first. And that may sound selfish, but it isn't. Because you can't help anybody unless you're taking care of yourself. You see what I mean? So it's not selfish. If you're not grounded, if you're not happy, if you're not living your best life, you can't add to anyone else's. You got to love yourself. And it's hard to do sometimes. Self-doubt is one of the easiest things. I deal with it real bad. I'm very bad about it. I have a big problem with doubting myself. And it helps to have friends that push you forward, but sometimes you're not lucky enough to have that. I happen to be right now in a situation where I do have friends around me that are being supportive while I'm going through this. And I apologize again for the crashing, but hopefully you stay with us because, like I said, I'm watching and the audio is still going. So I'm going to keep talking. We're going to do at least 45 minutes. We're at 35 right now. So if you want to share, we got 10 more minutes of show, and I will talk about whatever you guys want. Just let me know in the comments. And me and you can just hang out. Because that's what it is. It's a back and forth type show. And later on today, I'll have that review of it, chapter 2. And then maybe I can get my wife to do a double header and get her to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because I'm kind of hoping this is going to be a date. I'm kind of hoping it's just me and her going. I don't know if we're taking everybody because she didn't want to see it at first because she's like, the kids won't want to see it. And I'm like, well, we don't have to take them. You know, they could stay home. We could do a date, go out and just be us, keep it real. And the theater we're going to has these reclining seats. I've never been to one with the fancy reclining seats. That shows how rarely I get out. But when you have kids, you understand this. It's hard to get babysitters. It's hard to do that. It's hard to get out. And we have a lot of kids. Between me and Babos, we have 6. That's a lot. 6 is a lot. But that's what happens with kids. They multiply. Especially if you're into sex. You'll gather up kids, man. I'm telling you. Ask the Amish. Most Amish families are like 10 deep. They got little league football teams in their front yards. Sex will get you kids. I'm telling you. If you don't know, now you know. I'm trying to keep you informed. But I am off script now. I am out of notes. I got to make better notes. That's something I learned today. That's the thing. I learn as I go. So I've been doing these live feeds on Facebook for probably 2 years. And if you looked at some of my early ones, you would see I've learned a lot. But I am a slow learner. But you lucked out. You happened to catch me at my rise. I'm learning. This looks fancy. Other than the glitching, and we're not far off from that new computer. So we're going to be more technically savvy. I'm going to get better lighting and a better camera and all of that. So pretty soon you won't be able to tell the difference between this and a professional show other than my radio-friendly face. That's all that's going to show the difference. Other than that, we're going to look professional. And anybody that wants to help out by being an admin or adding content to my pages and helping and doing anything to help the shows, please let me know. I could definitely use that. It is just me. I'm a one-person operation, and I depend entirely on the help I get from my fans and viewers to spread this show, especially now being in this Facebook sharing jail, which, as I've said multiple times during this feed, is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Because if you don't like what I'm doing, and many people might not, what I'm doing is weird. I'm trying to start a broadcasting network from my Facebook page. I could be bugging the shit out of my Facebook friends. I'm not trying to. I mean, everything I do on here, I try to do something of value so that there's a reason to watch it and it's not just me putting something out for nothing. So I hope you like what I'm doing. But if you don't, there are 3 little dots right up there, and you can unfollow, unfriend, and even block me, and then you will never see anything I do ever again. You know what I mean? And I don't want anyone to leave. I've gotten to 5,000 friends, and I've tested my friends list many times. I've purged it, and I've cleaned it, and I've got it down to where I like it. I don't want anyone to leave. But I will promote my shows. Like I said, I gave myself a year to do something here, and I'm going to take it seriously. So I do these 3 shows. I may add more, but I'm going to bring in other people too. So if you're a content creator, I may be reaching out to you. There are a few of you that I have my eye on to see if you want to do shows for my channel, Me on Things and Stuff from YouTube, because I'm going to hub this all out of that channel. And please go there and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's one of my other little goals. Because on YouTube, once you get to 1,000 subscribers, you can do better live streaming. And I want to be able to do that and other things. And I'd like to grow it. I always wanted to advance this. That's where I want to hub everything out of. It's called Me on Things and Stuff on YouTube, and check that out. But like I said, we got about 5 minutes left. And what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? We could play a game. We usually play games on this show. There's a Guess the Comic and Literature Roulette. And we could play Literature Roulette if you want. I have the books laid out right here. And we can roll a dice even. I have a dice. And we can decide if you read. What I do on Literature Roulette is whatever it lands on. I have 3 books picked out. And then I have them all assigned numbers. On this dice, I roll this die. And then whatever book it lands on, I have a section picked out. And I have to read that section no matter what it lands on. And one is what I want, the book I picked that I actually want to read from. And then one is a romance novel, a cheesy romance novel that I picked out from the, local bookstore to just make fun of. It's one is that. And then one is an instructional book, like a school book, something boring. So you're either going to get a funny clip from a romance novel, you're going to get a clip from my favorite current book, the Ron Burgundy story, right, Let Me Off at the Top, or a segment from a little romance novel. And that's what we're going to close out the show with today is Literature Roulette. So we're going to roll the dice and see what it lands on. All right. So we have a winner. The winner was mine. I got to read from this book one more time. I've read from this book on this show at least 3 times, so I will take this one out of the rotation now. So the book is Let Me Off at the Top by Ron Burgundy. He's a legendary anchorman is who he is. But this section is about how he comes from a family of anchormen. Okay? We're going to read this and then we're going to close out today. So let me know anything in the comments you guys want to talk about before we close out or anything at all. If you want to plug something, let me know and we'll plug it. But here's the section. A family of anchormen. My father, Claude Burgundy, was a natural-born news anchor, as was his father and his father before him. Of course, there was no television or radio station in Haggleworth, Iowa. Instead, every Friday night he would set up a desk in the tight manhole, an Irish bar where the mine workers drank and sang songs of misery. The oil company paid him to report on all the charitable and civic-minded projects they had in the works, as well as hard-hitting news stories happening in Haggleworth. Because of his honest face and gifted speaking voice, men and women would come in from all the other bars in Haggleworth. The Dirty Chute, the Mine Shaft, the Rear End, the Suspect Opening, the Black Orifice, the Poop Chute, too many to list here. All to listen to the Shell Oil Burgundy Hour. In Haggleworth, there was the most popular show on Fridays at 10 p.m. for years. It consistently beat out Dragnet and Eric Kovacs in the ratings. He would report high school sports scores, weddings, divorces, births, who was diddling who, but mostly good news about the oil company and their interests. And I would come and watch from the front row and be transfixed by his smooth delivery and sharp tailoring. One day, the fire that continued to burn under Hagglesworth leaped over into Tunnel 8, the most profitable tunnel in the whole core operation. Unlike the fire that occasionally shot up from the earth and burned cars or dogs, this fire was getting in the way of profit and had to be contained. Men were sent down into the shaft to try and stop the fire, but it was no use. 11 men died. The whole town was in a somber mood. When my father got up to deliver the news, "Good evening, I'm Claude Burgundy, and this is how I see it." That's how he usually started every Burgundy hour. The bar was quieter than usual as they hung on every word. Today, the Shell Oil Company of Iowa announced a new plan to bring multicolored blinking lights to downtown Haggleworth for the upcoming holiday season. On a day when 11 miners had burned to death and husbands and fathers of people sitting in that bar had died, the Christmas light story was the lead. A woman in the back shouted something at my father. Another man called him a coward. He just sat there, taking insult after insult as he bravely continued on with a story about a precocious little dog that wore a hat around the town that everyone loved. He reported a story about a planned two-hole golf course. There was an in-depth interview with a woman who had won second place at the state fair for her lemon bars. It was great news, and slowly people began to smile. When he got to his sign-off, and that's what happened this week in Hagglesworth, they were sad to see him go and could hardly wait for the next week's news. Now that was a comedy piece. For those of you that know, that's not a real documentary, that's not a real biography. His daddy didn't really give news at the bar, but it's a comedy piece about the reality of the situation. That's what really happens. The news is owned by corporations, 6 of them to be exact. And they report what they're told to report no matter what happens. You know, when there's something that's tragic that happens, they bury it because that's what they do. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been the Yankey Show, and we do this every Sunday at noon from the Yankey Show page. So follow the page, and you'll stay up to date with our show, and you'll be notified every time we go live. I will do an update tonight about It Chapter 2. So tune in for that. We will be live later on for a review of that movie and a review of Date Night, maybe. But, you know, if we get to leave the kids at home. I don't know if we'll get to do that or not, but hopefully. And maybe I'll get her to do that doubleheader and see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week at noon right here. See you then.